Hello, it's Jose, and this is recorded discussion number 6, titled Affirmative Action and Ethnics Cinema. And we'll be talking about the Rocky film duology and um, Matthew Fry Jacobson's book, White Ethnics and Cinema of White Grievance. So, question number 1, how does the film qualify as cinema of white grievance? Identify at least 2 examples in which Jacobson argues that Rocky Balboa is purposely portrayed as the white victim of American society and Apollo Creed as the privileged black character in the movie. So example number 1 would be that at the time the Bake case was relevant. I think even in the book it's quoted. Hold on. Where is it? In like a week. There's like a week. Oh no. There's a few weeks. A few weeks interval between the case and Rocky 1. Yes, Rocky 1, which was in '76, and so that relevancy with racial I'd say not. I'd say because I was gonna say privileges, although that word still would make sense. But if you know the Bake case, explaining why I called it privileges. Basically, a white man was denied the job he was, interviewing for, and the reason being was because the white slots were already filled out, so the only slots available were for minority groups, and he basically took that to court because he still had the appropriate experience, if not more experience, than the minority groups that would have gotten the job in place of him. So there's example 1, if I completed all that thinking. Example 2 of argues that Rocky Balboa was purposely portrayed. Okay. That, I would say that his place as an Italian American gives it more of a, he's still technically a minority. Technically, by how Europeans immigrated to America in the early 20th century. So his place as an Italian American, and how he necessarily didn't really fight for, or he did fight, but because boxer, but I mean as in he didn't put his race first, if that makes sense. He wasn't a white rights activist, I guess you would call it. He just fought without affiliation to the idea of white supremacy or something like that, or ideas like that, I should say. And yeah, his place in the ring wasn't really wrapped with the whole ideology of who's the superior race, I guess. It was just a fight between 2 boxers, if that makes sense. So number 2, pay exclusive attention to how the author draws comparisons between Bake v. University of California Board of Regents of 1978 case and the contrast between the Rocky and Apollo Creed characters. What point is the author trying to make? Why not agree with his conclusions. Okay, so for that one, the author, Fry, quoted in page 79, right? Yes. Bake, has become the symbol of the unjust loser. He won, while Rocky Balboa stands for the underdog's just triumph. He lost. So he drew comparisons in the sense that in real life, and in fiction, the outcomes were inverted when they were almost, you could say, the same to a degree, like situations, as in again the racial like ties. And just to go back to question number 1, the second example I gave from was in page referencing where I got it was in page 84. Like he, like in summarization about like that he had no like real agenda, I guess you would say. I can give a line. Ultimately, is precisely because Rocky is no Klansman, nor even an outspoken advocate of white rights like Pixie Palladino, I think that's how you say his name, that the early Rocky films generate such power as narratives of white grievance. So I wanted to give that like citation. So yeah, going back to question number 2, the inversion of the racial situation that was going on in the 70s with the Bake case and the films. What point is the author trying to make? Well, like I said, but let me restate. It was, again, an inversion, but also how even in real life, like what could be translated to films that like parallels actual real life doesn't necessarily have these same like outcomes, or what's the word, like the viewpoint within the outcomes. Like going back to, because I want to get it right how we said page. Yeah. He became the symbol of, Baki became the unjust loser, and he won the case. That's what he means. And Rocky, in the movies, the underdog, he stood for just triumph, yet he lost. So even in views regarding like paralleling situations, it can be interpreted like differently by the people. I hope I'm making sense, but the views can be interpreted differently within fiction and reality, even if the situations are almost like the same. But that's the first part of the question. That's my response. Why do you not agree with his conclusions? I still agree with that, to be honest. Because okay, I'm not gonna repeat myself, but basically what I said, like you see it so many times. It's put out for the public's viewing, right? Let's say, because again, I'm not repeating myself, but like relevant or like historical events can be put out for the public's like view or like entertainment. But when it's actually like viewed in real life, or like when you come across that in real life, people react differently. They don't really abide by the same understanding when they saw it on screen than in real life. And I know it's like different, like this isn't the movies, but they sort of disregard their ideas or views, again, even morals, when they see it on the screen than in real life. That like they act differently. And maybe they do flock towards the idea that like, oh well, this isn't the movie, so I can agree with an idea, but when put into practice, like I'll give it leeway and not really go through with the mental state that I was at when experiencing an idea in the big screen or something like that. So yeah, I hope I made sense. And those were my responses. So thank you for listening.